Nation of Fit in 10, welcome to day 11. And today we're going to talk about why getting enough calories matters when you're trying to lose body fat. Why not just eat less? I mean, eating less will give you quicker results, will it not? Martina, what do you want to say about this?
Definitely not. I don't think that I would like it. I don't think that I would be able to sustain it. I don't think that I would feel good.
But you'll get better results. You'll get faster results. So why not?
Maybe on the short term, but what am I supposed to do after, the 5 weeks, the 10 weeks that I can sustain? Like, am I going to, for the rest of my life, never go to a restaurant because if I eat a potato, I'm going to be in excess of those 50%? I don't think so.
Right. So this is actually a great point. So maybe you can sustain this for, let's say 2, 3, 4 weeks. Let's even go out on a limb and let's say 8 weeks. Let's say you do lose a lot of body fat. Where do you go from here? So what do you have to say about this? Where would I go? So I'm at ultra low calories. Let's use an example here. My maintenance is 1,500 calories, just purely as an example. I go through a diet and I eat 800 calories per day. So I've got this deficit of 700 calories per day, or let's put this into a better perspective, almost a 50% reduction in, say, total calories that I was having prior. So, yeah, I'm going to lose more. What are the repercussions of this, though? Where would I go after, let's say, 10 weeks of doing that? I've lost all this weight. I'm eating 800 calories. I'm starving. What would I do?
Well, I mean, I don't think that you'd have any recourse, to be honest with you, but to get back to, trying to go back up. Because, again, your social life is going to be jeopardized. Your exercise output is going to be harder. Like, you're going to have a harder time, standing, thinking, walking, doing your activities. You're going to be probably cold all the time, I would say. So
okay, so there's lots of great points listed there. So let's start with maybe non-exercise activity. So what we tend to notice, and obviously, Martina, you've probably gone through this. I know I have when we've done very low calorie dieting for bodybuilding shows, etc., is we notice that non-exercise activity dwindles down a lot, which basically means is you eat less, but then you expend less just through your daily activities. So, your food goes down, awesome, but then the amount of energy expenditure that you're putting out per day goes down as well. So it's sort of like spinning your wheels. It's like torturing yourself, and then, you're just torturing yourself, but then you're not expending as much energy either. So it's almost like maybe not quite, but one negates the other, especially as time goes on, right? We see that reduction in non-exercise activity. We see this too through a lot of different studies that are done on groups that are going through different versions of calorie reduction. So there's really no point in doing that. What are some other things, though? What are some other things you mentioned? You mentioned being tired, recovery,
being cold.
Being cold, okay.
And not being able to socialize in a restaurant, for example. That's a big thing for me, right? I want to be able to fit one meal, at the restaurant, and not having to avoid for the rest of my life settings in which I would go over my caloric allowance.
Right. So let's come back to maybe being cold. Why? What's going on there? Why are you cold?
Metabolism.
Okay, so what's going on there specifically?
If you eat less food, or let's say you put less gas in your car doesn't go as far, that's all. So if I don't have enough calories, then I'm just going to start to run basically on empty.
Yeah, so there's a couple things here that we can sort of expound upon. And and we won't cover, all reasons why our metabolism drops. But one of those reasons is we see a drop in thyroid production, right? So this is one reason why we're going to get cold. So again, kind of spinning our wheels, reducing those calories a huge amount, only to get a reduction in thyroid hormone. So that's basically, our thyroid is our prime regulator for our basal metabolic rate. How about this, right? We see when we go through major calorie deprivation, we see a greater and greater decrease in lean body mass.
In muscle, yeah, absolutely.
Right? And so this is our engine, aside from our vital organs, our lean body mass, our muscles in particular, but lean body mass as a whole. This is our engine for burning fuel every day at rest. So if we lose more of that, then then we are just, again, spinning our wheels because we are lowering our metabolic rate.
Absolutely.
So, these are two really, really important factors to think about. And I know you mentioned about recovery and having enough energy. Do you maybe want to talk about that?
Not really.
Not really? Okay. All right, I'll talk about it. So we want to be able to recover from our workouts. So the less energy that we provide our body, less nutrients that we provide our body with, the less we're going to be able to do the things that are going to allow us to improve our body composition or to burn extra calories. So again, we just end up spinning our wheels, going too low in calories. So we want to be able to recover from our workouts. We want our muscles to be able to recuperate in an efficient amount of time, or just we want greater efficiency with that. So shorter amount of time. We also want to get the most out of our resistance-based workouts, the ones that you're doing with Coach Martina, of course. And so we don't want to be chewing through lean body mass in order to try to build some lean body mass. One just negates the other, and this is what will happen with ultra low calories.
Yeah.
So again, we want a reasonable amount of calories. So generally what I say is going with maintenance and then making a small reduction, a 10 or 15% reduction from there, not a 50% reduction. Mm-hmm. Ultimately what's going to happen is eventually you are going to regain. And
you're going to come to a stall, and then what? You're going to eat even less food?
Well, here's another thing. What tends to happen to people when they go through these very big calorie deprivations, when they go through what we call yo-yo dieting, what do we tend to see over time with people?
Less sensitivity to the dieting processes. We can't lower the calorie any further.
Yeah, so so you're quite right? Less sensitivity, right? We don't burn as many calories as we were prior to the diet. So now we're even in an even worse situation. We want to keep all those processes that are allowing us to burn calories. We want to keep those as high as possible, or we want the body to be running as inefficiently as possible. So we don't want to lose any of those things, whether it's thyroid production or the ability to perform in our workouts, or the loss in lean body mass, or non-exercise activity. All these things, we don't want to downregulate these things because it just defeats the purpose of what we're going after.
Indeed.
Right? And so these are things that we see with ultra low calories. So, all right, maybe what we'll do is we'll stop there for today, and let's get to the message of the day. And Martina, what's the message of the day?
You do not have to be extreme to get results.
Yeah. What do you have to be?
Consistent?
Yeah, with?
Everything.
Yeah, I mean, you just need to be consistent with something reasonable over time. That's all it's about. Okay. Now, we're talking in the general context of maintaining a reasonable body composition. Obviously, if we're talking about getting to ridiculously low body fat levels, that is something that's going to require more of an extreme regime. But again, that is not something that is sustainable. But when it comes to men staying within 10 to 14% body fat, which is fairly lean, ladies staying somewhere between that 14 and let's say 20% body fat, or 22% body fat, in that range. And again, it's going to vary from person to person. We need something that is just reasonable and consistent through time.
That's right.
Right?
Yeah.
You want to add any more to that?
No.
No? Okay. All right. So what's the message of the day again? No, I'm asking you. What is it?
You don't have to be extreme. All you have to be is consistent.
With something reasonable over time, right? So don't focus on extremes. Focus on things that are reasonable. Again, it's always the most sort of mundane, simple advice,
obvious.
Kind of obvious, yet so few people maybe want to believe it. Right? But that is where the secret lies. So we will talk more about why calories matter in the next video. And I guess we will say goodbye for now, everybody. positive energy, positive vibes, believe in yourself, for the love of God, give some gratitude, and we'll talk to you at the end of the week.